Welcome back to Z-Speed and thanks for tuning back in. Today I'm going to show you how to fix excess oil consumption on your 7th generation Honda Accord. So if you're interested in learning how to do this, just stay tuned. Now, I normally change my engine oil about every 3,000 miles, and I usually run synthetic oil most of the time. Now, I know that might be a little frequent for some people. Some people like to go 5,000, but once your car hits a couple 100,000 miles like mine has, it's really important to keep on top of your engine oil changes. It'll just really prolong your engine life, and hopefully you could even get 300,000 miles before any major overhauls are done. So I normally always check my engine oil every time I fill up my tank just to keep an eye on the oil consumption, and usually it's about a half a quart or less in between oil changes, and it slowly started creeping up and it had got up to a quart plus, and that's when I realized there was something going on, something unusual, because I could find no oil leakage underneath the vehicle at all. The valve cover seals looked perfect, and so that's when I realized it had to be some type of internal problem. Well, it didn't take much research at all to find that the Honda Accord can have a problem with increased oil consumption and poor fuel economy, all because of a clogged or dirty PCV valve, and you can see it's right here on top of the alternator here. Super easy access, and so this should be a breeze to remove this hose right here and change out our PCV valve and hopefully cure this oil consumption problem. Now, normally I like to use Honda genuine parts, but when it comes to a PCV valve, this thing's really cheap at AutoZone for $10.50, and the number is PCV 108DL. You can't really beat the price, so in this case I went ahead and used a AutoZone part. Now, the good news is this PCV valve looks just like the original. The only downside that I could find is that it did not come with a washer, so I'll probably have to reuse the OEM washer from the vehicle. Now, Honda recommends that you change your PCV valve out every 50,000 miles, and we also need to remove the engine cover to inspect the PCV valve hose, and we want to make sure there's no cracks or tears in this hose. You can see where it goes into the intake manifold right here. It's actually looking pretty good here, but if you find any problems with this hose, you'll go ahead and replace this with your PCV valve. Now, I have no idea how old my PCV valve is. I bought this car with 190,000 miles on it, so we'll find out here really quickly. So let's go ahead and get started on this install. It should be quick and easy. All you do is take a pair of needle nose pliers, squeeze this little hose clamp together, slide it up and out of the way. And I actually like to try to break my hose loose with my hand if at all possible, because that'll decrease the possibility that you're going to tear your hose. Now, unfortunately, I could not get it off with my hand only, so I'm going to slightly twist this thing, and I want to be as gentle as possible with these needle nose pliers. Last thing you want to do is tear the hose and have to replace it. But if that happens, then you'll just have to replace it. But I just barely tugged on it and it broke it loose. So that's the good news. It didn't take much to get it to break loose. Now, to remove the PCV valve itself, you'll need a 17mm socket. I used an extended socket with a breaker bar and was easily able to break it loose. Then I was able to hand thread it out with no problems at all. So hopefully yours will come right out with ease, just like mine did. So let's take a look at this old PCV valve. You can see that it's heavily varnished here and just gunked up with oil. And when I shake it, the best I could get was a slight thud every now and then. It was almost seized in there and it's totally non-functional. So I'm pretty sure this was my problem here. There's no telling when this thing was changed last, but I'm sure it was well over 100,000 miles. And I'm glad that we finally got this thing out. Now at this point, I've wiped up the residual oil from the engine area, and now we're ready to install the new PCV valve here. I'm going to give it a quick shake test here. You should hear it click back and forth, and yes, I hear a nice clicking sound like it should sound, not like the old varnished one. And I've got my old washer off the OEM PCV valve here, and it actually looks like it's brand new, so I'm really happy about that. No creases on this at all, so make sure that your new one comes with a washer, or you'll have to reuse the old one like I have here. Now, once you go to reinstall your PCV valve, make sure you go ahead and hand thread this bolt into your engine. This will definitely decrease the likelihood of any cross threading. Obviously, that's the last thing you want to do with any bolt, is to cross thread it into your engine. Once you get this thing hand tightened as tight as you can get it, we can go ahead and get a foot-pound torque wrench out. We're going to set that foot-pound torque wrench to 33 foot-pounds per the manual here, and we're going to go ahead and torque this down to 33 foot-pounds. Now that your PCV valve is torqued down, we can go ahead and place the hose back on, and then we're just going to slide the hose clamp back down over the end of the PCV valve, and we're pretty much all set here. Now I've got some great news. After the install, you can see I've got 213 miles on this half tank of gas. I couldn't even believe my own eyes, but with just a half tank of gas, I've already gone 200 miles, and I've still got another, I guess, 200 miles to go. So it's vastly improved my gas mileage and totally decreased my oil consumption. So I'm pretty happy about that. So if this video helped you out, don't forget to leave me a big old fat thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Come on, join the Z-Speed team. And until next time, you know what to do. Just keep on repairing.